All right, so hi everyone. In case you don't know me, I'm Charise Rohm Nulsen. I'm a diamond coach on Team Perseverance. I've been with Team Perseverance since September of last year. I started in an August challenge group doing T25 with my husband, and 2 weeks later became a coach, became Emerald about 30 days after that, and maybe like 4 months or 3 months after that, I became Diamond. So it's been a fast ride, and I'm loving it. And I'm excited tonight to share a new kind of training with you. But before we start the actual training, I'm just going to go through Dave's usual deal of doing the announcements and the recognition for the team. As far as announcements go, there's nothing too new going on. As everyone should know, the P90 Challenge Pack is still on sale. It's normally $180, I believe, and it's $160 now. This is a great program for anyone who is a beginner or someone who just can't get enough of Tony Horton. I have the program at home, and I've done P90X3 and parts of P90X, and I still feel like it can be a very intense workout. So this is a great workout program really for anybody. In addition to P90, the Les Mills Combat and Pump kits are on sale right now. If you go to the breaking news section of your Coach Online office, you'll see all of the sale details, even like the equipment that goes along with it is on sale. So I'm pretty excited to buy those programs in the next couple of weeks myself. There is a new policy for Success Club points. So sometimes if you may have found that there might be a mix-up with Success Club points, there's now a deadline by which you have to contact Coach Relations to let them know that there's a problem with your points. So definitely go to the breaking news section to find out the deal with that, because that is something that could affect you in the future. As far as our challenge groups go, we are now at the beginning of week 2 of the October challenge group, and week 2 is all about motivation. So you should be posting your daily motivational quote images along with your sweaty pics. And as Dave always says, make sure that you're not posting and running. So post your picture, post your motivational picture, go through, like and comment on the posts of the other people in your group, because you are setting the example for everyone else, and you are setting the tone. So make sure to be focused on your challenge group. And the last thing is that the 3-day refresh group that Dave and Kristen are doing, that starts tomorrow. I'm going to do it as well. We have a good group of people. We have a Facebook group to support each other. So if you personally want to start doing 3-day refresh with us tomorrow, or if you have a customer that just bought it and it arrived in time or something, there is a support group available starting tomorrow. So if you want in for that, or know somebody who does want in, message Kristen tonight and she'll add you to the group. So that's it for announcements. Now I'm going to go through the recognition, recognizing people who have at least 100 volume points or more. So in the 100 club, we have Kristen Atkins with 142 points, Jenny Hall with 125, Victoria Cavallo with 195, Jessica Lane with 105, Jill Acerno 117, Donna Dini 180, Tina Moffat 180, Michelle Rizzo 180, Monica Nazario 184, Mary Lou O'Brien 135, Emily Lewis 180, Michelle Berkey 180, Jillian Brumo 180, Sandra Murphy 135, Alyssa Ferreira 113, Ashley Puglisi 180, Kelly Delavecchia 180, Jennifer Rishardi 135, Amanda Landsman 105, Vicky 195, Timothy Christian 185, Cynthia Cheek 100, Marie Durancy 100, Denise Brobson 105, Brooke Hampton 112, Kimberly Robb 180, Jenna Lee 180, Kristen Cleary 120, Morgan Sklitch 180, Emily Michalik 135, and Rob Krasinski 135. So congrats to everybody in the 100 Club, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering your names. I don't know how to pronounce many of them. In the 200 Club, Laura Carter, 225, Shannon Larice, 225, Shanna Carlucci, 270, Kristen Malone, 200, Brian Lobsher, 240, Dave in his second business center, 249, Cassie Nadaner, 270, and then Dave in his first business center is 290. So congrats to everyone in the 200 Club. For the 300 Club, we have Lisa Marr at 360, Jean Marie Cregan at 360, Kristen Smalls at 330, and Maria Peterson at 345, which is awesome. Nice to have several people in the 300 Club, so congrats. For the 400 Club, I am in there with 412, Gina Strecco with 495, Liz Mullenbrook with 405, and then, of course, we have a huge jump to our most common winner, Michelle Della Sala in the 700 Club, all by herself with 704 volume points. So congrats to Michelle for another amazing, amazing week. So that's it for recognition. So I'm going to talk to you about how to use the Facebook event invite process to invite for our next challenge group. You know, I know we have a set way that we typically invite, but I recently learned this method, and I think it's really helpful for a few reasons. If you've been doing this for a while like I have, it's just really nice to switch things up and try and do things a different way. It's very helpful. You know, it can be hard to do the same exact process over and over again. So it was exciting for me to find a new way to reach out to people. Also, if you're the kind of person who is nervous to send out that initial invite to people, this is a cool way to do it because it is completely non-intrusive. It's very easy, and it's a very organized approach. So I like it for those reasons, and I think it would be a very easy approach, especially for a new coach. So the first thing, and if everybody does not have a pen and paper, please grab something now to take notes, because although this is an easy process, I do have a lot to say, and you want to kind of write this down in order. So the first thing that you want to do is to make a list of 50 prospects to invite for our November 17th challenge group. I know 50 sounds like kind of a crazy number. It sounds like a lot. And this is probably the part that will be the most time-consuming aspect of this invitation process, but it's worth it because I know how hard it can be when you don't have a prospect list, because sometimes there's been, you know, a day or two where I let it go and I don't have a list in front of me. And so you go to Facebook to try and find someone to invite, and you're like, okay, I just need to invite 2 people today. And you start scrolling through thinking, who's going to be 2 great people to invite? Meanwhile, and then you start reading the timeline, you start posting about other things. A half hour goes by and you've invited no one. So think how much faster every single day will be for you if you have your list of 50 prospects to start. So that is the first thing that you're going to do. Next, I'm going to share my screen so you can see the event tracker that I have, not this. Let's see. Here we go. So this is an example of an event invite tracker that you will create. And so I did this in Google Docs, but you don't have to use Google Docs. You can use Excel. You can handwrite this. As long as you have 50, 1 through 50 going down on the left side, and then columns going across, that's all you need. So the first column is going to be where the 50 names go. The next column is the invitation column, and that's the actual date that the Facebook event invite will be sent to people. Then there's the FU column, which of course stands for follow-up and nothing else besides follow-up. After that is step 2, because as most of you probably know, we use a 5-step invitation process for Beachbody. So the next column is step 2. After step 2 is another follow-up column, then step 3, then follow-up, step 4, follow-up, step 5, and then finally result. So basically it's name, the date of the invitation, and then follow up, step 2, follow up, step 3, follow up, step 4, follow up, step 5, result. And that is how you will track everything. So it will be very organized. The next thing you are going to do is to create an actual Facebook event. Sorry, I'm having some issues with this bar in my way to grab what's up here. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to show you what an example of an event looks like. You click on the event section, and then this was an event I had created. So I had come up with a fun name and focused my invite on PIO. So it was Namaste all the way to Fall Fitness. And then you have your cover photo up here, just like we have in the Facebook challenge groups. There's the 50 people that I invited. The challenge group starting November 17th. It's taking place in your home. And this is an example of what I wrote for a PIO challenge group, so you guys can take a look at that. I said it can be so hard to carve out some me time as busy women. We're so busy taking care of everyone else that we often don't spend the same time caring for ourselves. I would love for you to join me in a 30-day challenge group to spend time each day focusing on your own wellness with a workout program that is based both in yoga and Pilates. It has provided me with more energy and strength, blah, 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 blah. It's low impact but high intensity. You can view a quick preview of the workouts here. And this is actually the PIO preview video from the Coach Online office, but I used a Google shortener just because I didn't want to be blasting Beachbody at everybody right away, so that way they don't necessarily know it's a Beachbody link. But that is basically, just the PIO preview. And then here's what you're committing to, starting the use of the 60-day program, talk about the meal planner, touch on Shakeology, and then this is Shakeology, the breakthrough video right here. And then here's what will happen. You'll feel better, you'll make huge progress, and you'll have fun with a like-minded community of women. So let's go back to the event area, and I'll just show you what it looks like to actually create it. So we'll go to events, and then you just hit the blue create button, and this is all it looks like. So you can just, call it whatever you want. Like you can call it, I'm just going to write test group here, but maybe you want to make the focus of the invite the fact that all the programs are going to be 30 minutes or less, or maybe you just want it to be for whatever program you personally are going to be doing. Of course, we have different programs all as part of the challenge group, but you want to make it, kind of focused so it's not overwhelming for people. Also, if you're going to be doing 3-day refresh one month and you want to see if you can get some people to join you, it could be a 3-day cleanse, and then giving that kind of information. The details section is where I don't have it copied anymore, but the description that I read you, that's what goes into the details section. And then for add a place, you can just write home. For the date, you choose the date. So the next one will be November 17th. You don't have to put in a time. And then for the privacy settings, this is important. You want to choose guests and friends, because that way, anytime the guests are tagged or anytime you're speaking directly to the guests in the group, their friends will also see it on their timelines. So it's another way to get additional exposure. So let's say, you find out that, Rosanna sees that Gina is doing this group, maybe she's like, what's that? And then she reaches out to find out. So it's just an additional way to get exposure. So when you go back to your tracker, I'm sorry, this bar is so annoying. There it is. Okay, so the event invite tracker. So if you sent this out tonight, you would put tonight's date, October 20th, down the line for the invite. So that goes in this first column right here. And then something else that I should have mentioned also is that you want to make sure that these are people that you've formed. So, you know, if you don't know what form is, this is asking people about their family, their occupation, their recreation, and then sending your message. So you don't want these to just be people that like you have had zero interaction with whatsoever. Even if you're just liking and commenting on their posts on Facebook, that really helps people kind of feel like you're present in their lives. So you want to make sure to have done that, have some kind of interaction before you get going with this. So the next thing that you want to do is to respond to anybody that says yes or maybe. So you're probably not going to get many of them because people get so many event invitations on Facebook and there's so many notifications on Facebook. It's just so hard to keep track of everything, but that's what gives you a good reason to follow up. So don't worry about that. But let's say you get 2 people who say yes or say maybe. So here is an example of what you can say to people. So you can send them a private message after they've said yes or maybe, and you can say, I just wanted to say thanks for replying to my event invite for the whatever you called it challenge. I want to get more information to you, but first I'd like you to tell me what health goals you have and what struggles you've had in the past. This way I can see if this challenge is right for you. And if you're familiar with the 5-step invitation process, this is, of course, step 2 of the invitation process. You want to get people's why, and you don't want to skip that because everything and the whole rest of the invitation process is based on the why. So even if they say yes and you're so excited and you're ready to send them the link to the challenge pack so that they buy it immediately and you don't want to lose that sale, don't do it because they don't even really fully know what they're saying yes to. So stop, take a breath, put your excitement aside, and find out what their why is. What is their motivation for wanting to do this group? And then the next thing that you want to do is to go back to that Facebook event invite, and you can post in there, just like you're posting within a challenge group or within our coaches group. It's kind of like a group in and of itself. So if someone replies with yes, you want to post publicly in that group and tag that person. So if Jen joins my group, I want to say, welcome Jen, I'm so excited that you're doing the PIO group with me. I know because of your background in yoga that you're absolutely going to love this. Stay tuned for some more exciting information. Some kind of post that makes them excited. And then everyone in the group is then going to get a notification on Facebook saying that there was just a post in there. So if they click on that notification, they'll be like, oh, wow, people are actually doing this. Awesome. Okay, maybe this is something I should check out. So it's just one more way to then get people's eyeballs onto the event invite itself. And as far as going back to the fact that this message right here is the step 2 of the 5-step invitation process, the purpose of tonight's call is not to go through the 5-step process, but if you don't know where that information is, I'm just going to show you really quickly. You go to your Coach Online office and then News and Training, and then the Coach Training Academy. And then it's pretty obvious because it says invite, invite, invite. So you know that's about the invitation process. And then it's right there, Customer 5-step invitation process. You can watch it as a video or you can see it as a PDF document. So that's very helpful. And then also, Dave posted a video, in case you guys did not notice this, in our coaches group, that Tommy Migrant, that has Tommy Migrant right here. Good quick video on the 5-step invitation process with Tommy Migrant. He's a top coach. He's the guy that changed Dave's business for him, and he talks through the 5-step invitation process. This video is 4 minutes and 26 seconds long. It's totally worth taking the time to watch as a refresher. So again, it just kind of puts in your head what you should be doing with this process. So to go back, let me stop sharing here for a second. So to go back to where we are, someone has replied yes, 1 or 2 people. You've welcomed them in the group itself. You've sent them step 2 via private message. Now, what about the 48 other people who did not respond to your invite and are just hanging out there and you don't know if they saw your invite or not? So the thing that you want to do is to send a follow-up message. So from here on out, so if you sent this yesterday, you've replied to your people who have said yes. Every day going forward, you want to follow up with 5 people. 5 people who have not responded to this event invite. And you're going to just send them basically the same exact message. So this is quick and it's easy, but it's going to keep you in touch with all 50 of these people. So once again, share my screen quickly. If people don't respond to the event invite, this is an example of what I sent. So, hi, so-and-so, I hope all is well. It's been so nice to see you and your beautiful family on Facebook, like a one-liner kind of, chatty thing. And then, this is the key part. I wanted to see if you had a chance to check out the event invite to the Namaste All the Way to Fall Fitness Challenge. I am starting on November 17th. Please just let me know your thoughts and questions when you have a chance. And then, this is something that was not included in the way I learned it, but I think that it's key to add this part right here. If the event invites slip through the cracks, as I know things so often do with Facebook, here is a direct link to the invite. And so all I did was go to the invite and copy and paste the URL for the invite and then put it right here. Because what I was realizing is, as a lot of people were getting back to me, they would say, oh, so sorry, I didn't see the invite. Let me go check it out. And then that would be the stop to the conversation, and then I'd have to go back again. So this kind of preempts what they're gonna say next about, I need to go see it, I haven't seen it. So it's right there. And when there's a link right there for people to click on, they're more likely to click on it. So they will click on it and see the event from this. And again, when you send this out, once they get back to you, remember that you're gonna go right back to step 2 of the invitation process. So you will say, great, so glad you're interested, or so glad you checked it out. Before we can see if this is a good fit for you, can you just tell me what your motivation is for this group? So you always want to go back to step 2. So that is, let's see. So that is back here, right here. So for step 2, whenever you wind up doing that part with them, you write that date under step 2. And then for whenever you sent that follow-up message, so 5 a day, that goes in your first follow-up column. And then it just keeps going from there. You just kind of continue the same process. Something else that's really nice to do each day is to post something in Facebook. Let me see if I can get back to it. Sorry, the bar from Zoom blocks me from getting to my Facebook tab. But what you can do is each day you want to have some kind of activity going on the Facebook event page. So you want to post something once a day, but you don't want it to be something that's salesy. So you want to think about the kinds of Facebook posts that we all try and put up on Facebook on our timelines. So maybe it's a motivational quote image. You can post that. You might post the results of a challenger. So let's say, you have your invite specifically focused on 3-day refresh or on PIO or on T25. Share the results of someone in your current challenge group saying, oh my goodness, I'm so excited for so-and-so in my current challenge group. This week they lost 5 pounds doing T25, so amazing. And that's it. No, the deadline is coming up soon. No, T25 is on sale, or whatever you want to push that's sales oriented. You don't want to say that. So motivational quote or the results of a challenger or a before and after picture is also a great thing to share. Or if someone, let's say, just shared a healthy recipe in your challenge group, you can put that up in there and say, this is an example of the kinds of things we share in our challenge groups. Or like one of the Beachbody program images, like, all of the great images of Shailene from PIO with some kind of great quote about like the strength and flexibility that you're developing, one of those things. So something like that, again, gives a notification to everybody in the group. And then if anybody in the group actually likes that post or comments on that post, then that's going to show up on their timeline, and then their friends can see it, again, getting you more exposure. So that's the basic process, and I'm not sure if that's 100% clear to everybody, but if you know the 5-step invitation process, this is just a great way to get going, because then you're not sending that cold, even if you've formed, I know sometimes it feels like a cold first message to people, like, hey, do you want to learn something about my challenge group? So this is something that you can specifically refer to with the event link, and maybe you will get someone who will be interested and just say yes or maybe right off the bat, and that's a great conversation starter. So that's what I had to share, but I'm going to unmute in case anybody has any questions. If I can remember how to unmute everybody. Let's see. I can't figure out how to unmute everybody. So can you unmute yourself or type in the chat box if you have any questions at all about how this works?
I have a question.
Okay.
It's Maria.
Maria, there you are. Hi.
Hi. That Google Doc was really interesting. How you to me, it sounds a lot easier than this paper that I've been using for months and months and months.
Yeah.
How did you create that Google shortener? That was a really cool trick.
So you're talking about how to shorten the link?
Yep.
Or are you talking about how to use a Google Doc like the event tracker that I created?
Oh, I liked
two different things.
That the Google shortener. How did you shorten the URL?
Okay, so for that, I'm gonna share my screen. Now I use Google Chrome. So for Google Chrome, you can add apps, and see this little thing that my mouse is on right here? It's called, if you see the little tag, goo.gl URL shortener.
Oh.
You just add that as an app. So like if I click on it, it will shorten. So it's shortening the document page that I have open right now, but it gives you the shortened thing, so no one can see exactly what page that's about to bring you to, and then you just hit copy and that's it. So again, since I'm on Google Chrome, it's just an app right here, but if you guys just go into Google search and search for Google URL shortener, I'm sure there's just a website like that you can use, where you just plug in the link, beachbuddycoach.com/Charise Nulsen. I can throw it in there and get the shortened kind of hidden URL. And then that's it. I use that a lot, but because I'm also a blogger and that was my background, and used to trying to hide links, so to not seem like I'm being very self-promoting. So I've used that Google shortener a lot. So it's a great tool.
So it's similar to something called that tiny URL.
Yes, it is very much like tiny URL.
Okay. Okay. I'll think of another question in a minute.
Okay. You don't have to, but if you have one, let me know.
Charise?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
So after you do the 50 invite, all of the follow-up is done through private message?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Everything is done via private message, just like you do, if you sent out an initial invite, directly to them. The only thing that happens in the actual event space is that if someone says yes, or even maybe depending on your comfort level with who that person is, you kind of write a post, saying like, welcome, or so glad you're excited about learning more information, something like that, to create activity in the group. And then you also want to do that daily post each day, so that there's activity, and maybe people will start liking and commenting on those posts. That's like a motivational quote pick or something like that, so that other people see it and it gets more exposure.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Charise, I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so you invite 50 people to the event,
Mhm.
and then you do the regular 5-step invitation process. Now, what about those people that don't respond at all?
I think that it's kind of the same as you can follow up as much as you want, just like we would with our regular invitation process. The way that I was taught to do this, there's like that kind of big heavy hitter that Dave has talked about before, where you say something like, I really hope I haven't offended you or said something wrong. I just wanted to check in because I still haven't heard from you, and I'm wondering if I should cross you off the event invite list. So, just like we do otherwise, but you do wind up sending that out to a lot of people, and then of course it will elicit a response. But I do think that if you provide the actual event invite link in your first follow-up message with the first time you haven't heard back or heard a response to the event, people will at least click on it and say something like, okay, this sounds cool, or ask a question or something. It will get you some kind of response.
Okay, thank you very much, because this is really good. I can't wait to do it.
Good. Yeah, the thing in this training that I'm doing, the thing that we're learning now is using kind of a similar invitation process, but to invite people to be coaches and to invite people to work the business, which is, a whole other level of comfort zone. So I'm sure I'll have some more to share about that in the future. Anybody else?
Charise, I have a question.
Hi, Vicki.
Hi, on the initial invite, is that just going to be the invite that you send the event out, or are you still going to send a personal invite to each of those people?
That is your invite. So that counts as basically step one of the whole process. So you want to make sure that does include information about both the program that you're promoting, or however you're going to theme the challenge group, and Shakeology as well. Have some reference to that so that they know that it includes both things. And then from there, the next step is just, if they haven't responded, did you see the Facebook event invite that I sent you? Here's the link, just wondering your thoughts and questions.
Okay.
So I hope you guys feel like, this is something that you want to try and tackle. The first step would just be creating that list of 50 people. Like I said, it was the most time-consuming part for me because, of course, I've done Jen Holdman's blitzes, and those are awesome. But 10 people and 50 people, it's like a whole other level. So to sit down and come up with 50 does take a little bit of time. But then once you have that, it's so quick and simple from there. All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you guys. Oh, was there one more or no?
One more.
Yeah, go ahead.
How far in advance do you start your invites, this event before the challenge group starts?
So for this, the way I was taught to do it was like a 3-week sales cycle.
Okay.
But I really would start it now because it felt too short to me. So like I'm going to do this again, and I'm going to start it this week for the November 17th group.
Okay, good.
Because, if nothing pans out, well, then you just go back to your regular inviting, or for some people, they need just like a little more time. So I had a bunch of people for the initial one I sent out with the training that want to do our November group, but it was too short of a cycle to turn them around for October 27th when they initially wanted us to do this. So I think more lead time is actually better.
Okay.
Yeah. Kristen, did you have a question?
Yeah, quick question. Do you, including in your 50 prospects, are there people that maybe you reached out to once before, and said, no, not now? Or do you kind of try to get people you haven't asked in the past to join?
So that's a really good question. The way that they wanted us to do it for the training was 50 totally new people, which is why it was a little bit harder for me. But the way that I'm doing it in the future actually is to include people that I talked to a while ago or had expressed some interest, or like maybe they bought just the PIO DVDs from me, but didn't do like the whole challenge group. You know, anybody who's still kind of hanging out there, I feel like why not throw them in? Like there's no harm in it at all.
Okay, thanks, Charise.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Charise, it's Shannon.
Oh, hey.
So if you're suggesting that they do the PIO workouts, what if they choose to do something else? And so how does the entire group then feel if, you know, some people are doing other challenges and so forth?
Well, it's a good question. So this was a little bit of a challenge for me the first time around, because the way we run our challenge groups as a team and the way we all work together, people are doing different programs at the same time. And that is great, and that is wonderful, and it's still going to be that way going forward. But it's just a little bit easier to promote something when you have a little bit more of a focus. So, you know, once you're in conversation with them, you can say to them, yeah, other people will be doing T25. Usually I say something within my normal invitation process about the fact that most of the people in my group are doing PIO T25, 21-day fix, or P90X3, you know, so you'll be in good company with whatever program you're choosing to do. So I think that's fine, but also going back to step 2 and remembering that when you are responding to them or when you are reaching out, that is really step 2 of the 5-step process. You're finding out their challenges. So if someone just really needs a workout to be as short as possible all the time, you know, maybe you're looking at T25 then. You can say, well, PIO, it does sound good for you, but with your goals, you know, you want to lose a lot of weight fast, you have a very short period of time in the day to work out. Let's talk about T25, because other people in my group will be doing T25 as well. So that's your opportunity to tweak it for their needs. It's just a little bit more eye-catching to have it somewhat more focused in the actual initial invite, if that makes sense.
Okay, so in other words, if they respond with, oh, I'm not really necessarily into yoga and Pilates, you can start a conversation with them about, well, there's 10 other different programs that other people may be doing in the group and so forth.
Exactly, yeah, because they're going to give you their why, right? Like that's the whole purpose of that question. And so if they're saying, I just really want to focus on building lots of muscles, and somebody who loves lifting weights, well, then you're going to be like, well, what about Body Beast? It's another program. You know, you're going to respond to their needs. This is merely a conversation starter.
Right. Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure. Anything else? All right, well, if you guys have any questions that you think of later, just put them up in the coaches group or private message me, and I'll be happy to answer anything. All right, so thank you guys, and I did record this, so you can go back and check the recording too, or pass it along to any of the people on your personal coach teams that may have missed the call. All right, have a good night, guys. Bye-bye.